Calling the meeting to order. Please stand, salute our flag. Repeat after me.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Law and has been duly advertised in the newspapers as an official meeting. Roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Present.
Mrs. Cass?
Present.
Dr. Osmond?
Here.
Mr. Palmieri?
Present.
Mr. Sargent?
Here.
Mrs. Rivera?
Present.
Mr. Walsh?
Present. I need a motion to approve the agenda with addendums.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond? Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. We have a Board of Education recognition, and I'll go up to the podium for that. There we go. A few minutes ago, prior to the meeting, we showed a video celebrating the Elms Elementary School for all the ways they are promoting sustainability and environmental responsibility. The video was part of a Green Out celebration for the school being nominated as a Green Ribbon Schools Award. Tonight, we are proud to announce that the statewide nomination has gone much further, and that Elms Elementary School has been designated as a 2022 U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon School. The school is one of 27 districts nationwide, the only school in New Jersey to receive this recognition. The school earned this distinction for its innovative efforts to reduce the environmental impact, utility costs, improve health and wellness, and ensure the effective sustainability education. Their efforts are a perfect fit with our district-wide energy program and commitment to creating a culture that values sustainability and environmental education. Among the many features that earned Elms the honor of the on-site aqueous system, which engages students in learning about sustainable farming practices and balanced ecosystem lessons in sustainability and environmental challenges, focus on water conservation, plastic accumulations in the oceans, polluter declines, beach erosion, renewable transportation alternatives, invasive species impact on wildlife, global access to clean water. Students participated in the Trout in the Classroom, raising eggs, releasing the fingerlings in the school courtyard, rain barrel irrigating the sensory garden, and refill the 500-gallon aquaponics system. Students also participated in a recycling program, such as Crayola Color Cycle, Trex Plastic Recycling, on-site composting, and contribute to the food share table and local food pantry to reduce waste. While it is certainly a school-wide effort, tonight we honor and recognize the Elms Green Team for their accomplishments and their leadership. The students and staff of Elms have done a tremendous job of leading by example. Their energy commitment, their enthusiasm for sustainable and environmental responsibility can be felt throughout the school and is truly a model of excellence. It is our pleasure to congratulate Elms teachers, Shayna Brenner, Cheryl Kronapak, Jesse I messed that one up. Forsada, Assistant Principal K. Sean Levinson, and Principal Mike Burgess. Congratulations to the Green Team and the entire Elms community for their efforts to sustain our environment and inspire those around you. I will now turn over the meeting to the superintendent for her report.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Before you head out, folks, Elms National Green Ribbon. Wow, wow, wow. I'm so impressed. It's amazing. I am so proud of the entire staff and the students there at Elms. I was fortunate enough, right, to join you, Ms. Brenner, in your class during the walk, the learning walk at Elms, and I got to participate and learn more about all of the initiatives. Your students were fabulous. I got to taste some pesto water. I never thought to put pesto in water. It was delicious. Some fresh blueberries. I just want to again congratulate you on such an incredible acknowledgement, way to represent the district, and thank you for all of your hard work. So, as tradition has it, we will call our student board reps up first this evening to give the reports of their high schools. Dakota, Memorial, how about you begin this evening?
Good evening, Ms. Pormilli, board members, and central administration staff. I'm happy to report that Jackson Memorial High School has seen great success in the past month, even into spring break, and is on track to continue these accomplishments. Before I get to events exclusively relating to Memorial, I'd like to comment on the success of the Memorial Liberty Lacrosse game held on April 22nd, which was sponsored by Ocean of Love. Ocean of Love is a nonprofit organization devoted to providing monetary relief to childhood cancer patients and their families, and it's been active in our community for a while. The game was won by Memorial, but the day transcended any sort of high school affiliation, exemplifying the event's motto of 2 teams, 1 town, 1 goal. In recognition of this event and the great cause, I'd highly recommend either donating or volunteering for Ocean of Love. They do great work for a great cause. This month has been defined by both notable triumphs and thoughtful preparations for the future. The junior formal held at Jumping Brook was a great success and a welcome one for the junior class, which has been particularly affected by the past pandemic measures. We've only heard good things about it, and from the way it's been discussed, there's no question that the class is looking forward to their prom next year. Today, we hosted the campus cleanup, a large event that saw groups of people turn out to clean up around the school, and we'll host Arbor Day tree planting on April 29th. AP exams are coming up, and early May will see students more stressed than perhaps at any other time this school year. Accordingly, the school is joining in on the recognition of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. A variety of activities have been planned in order to aid students in stress management, raise awareness of mental hygiene, and help the general cause of mental health awareness. Also in May, we will be celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week from the 2nd through the 6th. As students, we're all grateful for the education we receive, and the guidance of our teachers is definitely irreplaceable. This value of their work is only accentuated by the coming Decision Day, which we'll be celebrating on the 29th. Our teachers have been the driving force behind the great accomplishments of our graduating class, pushing students to sharpen their minds through diligent work and a strong desire for achievement. On a little bit of a lighter note, but still related, we will also be holding the student-faculty basketball game on the 29th. We will encourage people to come out and see who comes on top in a true heavyweight matchup. The boys' track team has seen great results, breaking the school 4x1 record with a team of Zandre Thompson, Steve Beto, Jamar DeBerry, Sean Stalker, and also breaking the sprint relay record with a team of Thompson, Beto, DeBerry, and Josh Rand. Both the boys and girls teams will be running tomorrow at Penn Relays, where they hope to shatter even more records. The baseball team has also gotten off to a scorching start. Earlier, they beat Central Regional 4-3 behind starting pitcher Zach Crotchwell's 13 strikeouts on the mound and a towering home run at the plate. Crotchwell, an Auburn commit, was recently ranked as one of the top players in the state and is considered a possible pick in the upcoming MLB draft. I was just told about the recent results of a game that we just had against Southern. We lost by a run in extra innings, but I'm told it's extremely hard fought, and it's a very good sign of things to come. Big matchup right there. The girls lacrosse team has also shown great promise, recently delivering a strong 10-8 victory over Freehold Township behind great games from Sophia Devaney and Nicole Papalardo. The JMHS DECA chapter returned from international competition in Atlanta this morning, and after a long flight, I'm thrilled to say it was a great experience. Bring along a record number of participants, the chapter managed to develop the individual abilities of each competitor while also focusing on team-building exercises that promoted critical thinking and leadership skills. Most notably, Chapter President Noelle Powers took home second in the world in the personal financial literacy competition. Noelle has put in a tremendous amount of hard work to get there, and in my opinion, you couldn't have had a more deserving person get that award. I look forward to another productive month, and I look forward to addressing this body again. Thank you for having me, Mrs. Pormilli and board members, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Dakota, for the very informative and very up-to-date report, right off the field information. Brooklyn from Liberty.
Thank you, Superintendent Permilli, Board of Ed members, and guests. April has been a very successful month for us in Liberty. Our spring sports are in full speed right now. Our boys volleyball team is having a great season so far with a record of 9-2. They are undefeated in the conference with a divisional record of 7-0 after their win against Pinelands. The B South Shore Conference title looks to be theirs. The baseball team is also having a successful season with a record of 6-4. Track is excited to have athletes attending the Penn Relays today. We know they will represent the Lions well. We're very proud of our spring sports and are looking forward to seeing how their seasons wrap up. Sports haven't been the only action going on in Liberty. The At-Lib players will be performing The Wives of Henry VIII on Friday, May 6th at 7:30 in the auditorium. The tickets are on sale for $10 and can be bought either online at liberty.booktix.com or at the door. We hope to see you there. Another exciting show coming up is the JTV annual Veronis. They will be on Friday, May 27th, also in the auditorium. Come out for a night of singing, dancing, awards, and other performances. Before both of these events, Liberty will be holding a Battle of the Bands this Friday at 6:30 p.m. This will include performances from high school students who have their own bands. Tickets will be $8 at the door. Our students and staff have also been very active in the community. The National Honor Society made care bags for the chemo patients in Lakewood. They also made and donated Mother's Day flowers to the Sunrise Senior Citizen Center in Jackson to brighten up the people's days. Our Liberty Band is holding a clothing drive fundraiser on Saturday, April 30th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the high school. They are asking for women, men, and children's clothing, shoes, purses, stuffed animals, and bed and bath linens. They will also take bicycles and strollers. If you would like to donate, it would be greatly appreciated. In other exciting news, Rho Kappa Honor Society members were just inducted last night, so we want to offer a big congratulations to them. This is the Social Studies Honor Society, and we are very proud of how hard our students have been working, and this shows that hard work pays off. Lastly, this Friday will be our college decision day. Seniors will come into school wearing their future college apparel. We are very excited to see where all of the students decide to go. I'm looking forward to updating you on the final 2 months of school next time. Thank you so much. Have a great month.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Lots and lots of wonderful things happening in our high schools. It's very exciting. And in fact, my very next comment had to do with heading into the last 2 months of school. Hard to believe we're at the last 2 months already. There's a lot of activities that are happening. We have concerts, award ceremonies, and of course our moving up and our promotion and our graduation ceremonies. And we're so excited to be back to normal for those things. The middle school promotion and the high school graduation dates and times are on the agenda this evening for approval. So we're ready to roll right into the next 2 months and graduations. It's very exciting. Also on the agenda this evening is a revised 2022-2023 calendar that includes 3 additional half days for students so that in order for our staff in the afternoon to have professional development and collaboration. So that's a revised calendar, just including 3 additional half days. As an update for our non-public transportation timeline and our bid opening, we are still on track for our original timeline. Also to note, today is Administrative Assistance Day, in case you didn't know. To all of our administrative assistants in the district, thank you for all you do each and every day to support our staff and our students. It takes collaboration and dedication to meet with success, and we have some of the finest assistants here in Jackson. Mrs. Jeannie Barber happens to be one of them. Thank you for all you do to assist me and support this district. This evening we have 3 presentations. We're starting this evening with a health standards presentation, and then we will move on to a performance report and our budget hearing. I'm going to start this evening with the health standards presentation to review the New Jersey Department of Education health standards. There's been a lot of information, I'm sure everyone's aware, in the news recently about these standards. And you may remember seeing right before break that the district put a communication out in regards to releasing information that we wanted to articulate to our community about how Jackson would be handling those standards. We paused that because the governor had made, that very same day we were ready to release the information, he had made a comment about he wanted those standards to go under review again and to pause them. So we held and we paused sending our communication out. Since then, over break, districts in New Jersey received a memo from the Commissioner of Education basically stating that the standards were misinterpreted and that the districts have the discretion to select and adopt curricular and resources that are aligned to those New Jersey health standards. Therefore, tonight, we are prepared to share with the board and the community the approach the district will be taking on these standards. Mrs. Teresa Lasitra, our Director of Curriculum, is here this evening and will be presenting that information. So, Ms. Lasitra?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Permilli, and welcome again to the board and to my colleagues and to our community in the audience and our community watching here at home. So the purpose of tonight, as Ms. Permilli said, is to present to you the PE and health standards, what changes were required by the New Jersey Student Learning Standards for 2020, and how the district will be addressing those standards. As stated by Governor Murphy, the implementation of this curriculum is done at the district level. So again, our purpose tonight is to clearly designate what the Jackson School District will be presenting in school and what a parent may present at home. The Jackson School District has not and will not adopt the resources that the Department of Education has shared. We are not utilizing them at this time. Our curriculum for PE and health across all the grades, pre-K through grade 12, is written in-house. It's written by our teachers, our administrators, and we utilize our own resources. Our current textbooks are from 2007, and they contain the basics that we need to address in physical education and health. With that, there are some very sensitive topics that have been presented, and there has been a lot of media attention regarding those topics. So we want to go and explain to you grade by grade, band by band, what those additions are and how the Jackson School District is addressing those. So our curriculum for the New Jersey Student Learning Standards 2020 was adopted 2 years ago. We have been implementing the curriculum. There are certain standards that have changed and been added to what was prior before 2020, with the target date for that implementation September 2022, which is this September coming up. So the standards go by bands. So what they do is they tell you, like, by the end of grade 2, by the end of grade 5, by the end of grade 8, and by the end of grade 12. So what we have done is we're going to be showing you what those standards are and how we're addressing them in schools. So in kindergarten and first grade, none of the curriculum has changed. We have been teaching PE and health and talking to students about awareness and respect and how they can take care of themselves both physically, emotionally, and academically. 2 of the standards in grade 2 that have brought a lot of attention have not changed and will not change in September in our curriculum, but I wanted to focus on what those standards are and how we will be addressing them. So there is one standard, 2.12, and it talks about having students celebrate their differences. So we do that by asking students to talk about things that they like to do, maybe things that they like to do when they socialize, like I like to play soccer, I like to bake with my grandmother, I like to sing. That's what we do in school. We celebrate students and we make them be respectful of people that might like things different than them or people that like things that are the same as them. The other part of the standard about different stereotypes that might limit behavior, we feel that parents can have those conversations at their own discretion at home. There is another standard that is on the next slide, and that standard talks about naming body parts. So in school, we name body parts that can be seen when fully clothed. For example, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Toes, depending on the season, sometimes you see them and sometimes you don't. The standard also requires that you can discuss medically or scientifically accurate names for body parts. We feel that parents can have those discussions at their own discretion at home. So nothing in second grade has changed. We are fully aligned to the NJSLS 2020 standards. There are some ways we approach them in school and some suggestions that we have for parents that they can further engage their learners at home. So again, for grade K and 1, nothing has changed. For grade 2, this is how we address those 2 very sensitive topics. The next grade level band is grade 5. So in grade 2, there is really no opt-out because nothing has changed. In grade 5, grade 8, and grade 11, parents always have the opportunity to opt out of a lesson, and what we will be implementing next year. In September, what we've done this year, in September, parents get a lot of materials the first day of school, which they sign off on. The health curriculum is one of them. The teachers explain that on back to school night. Currently, we ask a parent that by October 1st, they can tell us if they want their child excluded from any of the health lessons that deal with family life or parenting. We send a letter out in grade 5, and we notify the students in grade 8 and 11. Next year, we will be very specific, notifying parents as to the date of those lessons, and a parent can opt out at any time, either by sending in a letter or directly contacting the principal. So in grade 5, when we go to the topics that are by the physical education bands, these are things that discuss changes that happen to adolescents. We talk about different body changes that happen due to hormones, and we discuss those changes with the students. There is one sensitive topic that is new to the standard, and that is standard 2.1.5. So if you look at the next slide, this is how we are going to be addressing that standard. We're not using the examples that are presented by the state. Again, the state provides a basic framework of what we should be teaching our students, and it's up to the district of how they implement that. So some of the examples that they give up there that families can talk about at home would be at the discretion of the parents. Those topics are not talked about during the grade 5 health lesson. We do provide parents with a very brief link to a video. The video is about 15 minutes long. We've been doing that for the past 5 years. It's the same video that a parent can preview before the actual lesson. In grade 5, the lesson is 1 day, so it's one health period during the school year, and that has not changed. But again, that one standard, that's a very sensitive topic that a lot of you may be reading about. That is how we'll be addressing that. The next group of standard bands is by the end of grade 8. So in 8th grade, again, students get health lessons. In grade 8, they require 3 instructional periods, so it's over the course of 3 days. The sensitive topics that have been brought up in grade 8 are talking about differences and accepting everyone, regardless of how they think of themselves. It's really having the child respect themselves and being able to take ownership of how they feel about a multitude of things. We also strongly encourage students to talk to adults about any topic that they feel that they're uncomfortable with, or about a topic that they feel they'd like to pursue even more. We talk to them about stranger danger. We also talk to them about different ways they can keep themselves healthy, both physically, mentally, and socially. We talk to them about diet. We talk to them about staying physically active. We talked about how they can expand their academic achievement and their brain power. And then we also talk to them about different body changes that happen and what happens as a result of those changes. The very sensitive topic that would be on the next slide is here they talk about STDs. And the difference in the new standard as opposed to the old standard is before it said to discuss different ways, now it says to define different ways that STDs can be transmitted. So what we do say to students is that you can catch a cold, you can catch an infection, you can catch an STD by different openings in your body. The yellowed part about defining them, we feel that if a parent wants to go into more detail at home, that would be at the discretion of the parent. The next grade level ban is 11th grade. There are no new standards that are introduced in 11th grade. Again, a parent can opt out their child from any of these lessons at any time. So what the slides do, the next few slides here, talk about is what they're learning when they're in 11th grade. They learn about the advantages and disadvantages of some of the choices they make. They learn about parenting. They learn about fiscal responsibility. They talk about the cost of raising a child, education, how much a college education costs. They talk about different things that they can do to keep themselves healthy in a myriad of different ways. The lessons in grade 11 can take anywhere from a minimum of 5 teaching periods to 7 teaching periods. So the topics that are listed here on these next few slides are still topics that we have been addressing for many, many years. And again, the NJSLS 2020 standards do not have anything additional as the grade 2, 5, and 8 standards did that creates any sensitivity or concern. So the last slide that I'm going to go to is talk about things that the Jackson School District does not do. So we do the curriculum. We are fully aligned to the 2020 standards. There are different ways that we implement that curriculum. That's for physical education and health. Just to clarify, the Jackson School District, nor does the state of New Jersey, adopt critical race theory. That is not something that the state has adopted, and it is not something that the Jackson School District utilizes in any of its curriculum. As I said, again, for PE and health, all of our curriculum is written in-house by our teachers. We use our own resources, and again, our textbooks are available, and the same textbooks that we have been using for years. The current social media, I don't know if many of you have seen it. The easiest way I can explain it is it comes in the form of a Dropbox. So if you open up a link, it shows a Dropbox of different health lessons. And it's called the 3 Rs. The Jackson School District does not utilize these health lessons. What this 3R company is, they're based in California, and they're a company, and they're trying to sell their product. So they have adapted their product for many states. And in one of their websites, it says these are adapted for the state of New Jersey. State of New Jersey does not adopt any kind of curriculum textbooks that are mandated. That's up to each individual district. So the state does not utilize that, and the Jackson School District does not utilize that. And the last thing, again, goes back to what I said at the very beginning. The Department of Education released resources that you can utilize for PE and health. We do not utilize those resources. Some of you may have heard about the pink, blue, and purple handouts that another school district in New Jersey had given out as a sample. That comes from that resource link, so we just wanted to assure you that's not something that we utilize, and we don't utilize those resources. So again, the curriculum goes by grade bands with the very sensitive topics geared for the end of that grade band, which again would be 2, 5, 8, and 11. And at any time, any parent can opt out of those lessons. The last thing on there is my name, my contact number, and my email. I'm very approachable. If you have any questions about anything that either was presented tonight or anything that's presented in the future, please feel free to email me, contact me directly. I'd be more than happy to address any of your concerns. Thank you. Any questions from the board before I go on?
I have one.
Sure, thank you,
With
Mr.
the
Wall.
opt-out, are the parents going to be given a timeline?
Yes. So right now, it says on our website October 1st, but a lot of this material is new to a lot of people, so a parent can opt out at any time. But some lessons are completed already. So if you had PE in semester 1 in the high school, you had your PE and health already. And if you are in middle school, a lot of those lessons were had already. In 5th grade, it's usually done more towards the very end of May, the beginning of June.
So next school year, they'll have that opt-out from day one?
Yes, it'll be on day 1, and we will have a link on the website. We have a specific link for the 5th grade piece because there's a video, but we're going to make it very accessible to parents to be able to find.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Lisitra, I just want to clarify, when you say some lessons have happened already, they
Yes.
are the existing lessons we've always done. There's been no
Existing
new.
lessons we've always done. Everything that was highlighted in yellow was what are proposed for the standards for September 2022. So nothing that was taught this year addresses any of that, and in grade 2, the content remains the same for next year also. Yes, that is that's correct, Ms. Permilli. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lisitra. We really appreciate it. We really felt it was important to clarify things, and like I said, we were prepared to do that before break. So as always, our presentations after the board meeting are posted on our district website, so that presentation will be posted, and shortly after that, we also have a Q&A document that we will be posting on the same topic, so that we keep our community and parents informed. So moving on, every year the Department of Education releases information pertaining to a number of areas about school districts. These reports are called performance reports. There's lots of information in all of those reports, and it's based on many different pieces of data. Mr. Rattante, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum tonight, will be highlighting a few of those areas for our board and our community. Mr. Rattante.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Permilli. Thank you, Board of Ed and community, for the opportunity to present our school performance report information. This does come out every year, right around this time, and typically reports on data that is from it's usually about a year and a half old, because it's the data from the previous full school year, so it's the 1920 school year, as well as some information from the 2021 school year. So the school performance report itself really releases a multitude of data points that parents can see, community can see, and our district is able to see that information as well and use the data points that are there to make decisions on our staffing, our INRS programs, and any extra programs that we need to use. This data really provides us a lot of information that we can use to make sure we keep the school district moving in the right direction. What you'll notice in this report as well this year, because of the pandemic from the last 2 years, a lot of assessment data that simply just did not happen over the past 2 school years, some information about SATs and PSATs. Certain topics like that you'll see are very limited in the reporting simply because they did not happen over these past 2 school years. The one thing that this report does not show is the effort of our students, our staff, our community, our parents, our administration, that needed to go above and beyond in almost every single category because of the situation that we've been in for the past 2 years. How our teachers were able to engage kids, connect kids, teach remotely, all of those things like that are not reflected in this report, but are a huge testament to the positive things that have happened in this district over the past 2 years. And this report is all available through the website in Spanish as well as English. Some of the specific data points that the school performance report includes deal with our demographic information, student growth, academic achievement, college and career readiness, staff information, accountability, and every school has a narrative page that gives a lot of information as far as activities, clubs, involvement, community things, things such as the green ribbon that you saw with the Elm School. Those are all included in the narratives that are available for each school. Every single school has their own individual report, and then there's also a district summary report that puts all of the district information together in one place. I'm going to just highlight a couple slides that the school performance report shows, just to give you a snapshot of some of the information that's there, and I would welcome and invite anyone to dive deeper into your own school or the district or the schools your children attend, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions if anybody has them after reviewing some of the data on the website. So the first piece of data obviously is an important one. It just shows our 3-year enrollment. This is taken on a snapshot date of October 15th every school year. So what you see here for the 2021 school year was what our exact enrollment was on October 15th, 2020. Obviously, we're now a full school year and a half beyond that date. Our current enrollment is over 7,700, which is a higher number than what you see there, but that's the number that's reported in the school performance report. To get a true picture of what our enrollment trends are on this report, if you look at the senior class of 2021, you'll see there were 670 seniors that year. Those would have been the juniors the year before, where there were 637, and the sophomores the year before that, where there were 650. So that particular class actually had a growth of 20 students between sophomore and senior year. Another one to highlight would be our 5th grade from 2021 that had 549. It had 551 as 4th graders the year before that, and 548 3rd graders the year prior to that. So really no change in the amount of students in that grade level as they moved up from year to year, and you can do that for any grade level. The next important piece of information I want to share is our graduation rates. You can see here what our graduation rates are, and they do it in 2 ways. They report it as 4-year graduation trends and also 5-year graduation trends. So we do have a number of students specifically that are some of our special needs students that remain with us in our programs and very specific special needs programs after their senior year and will remain for even 1 or 2 more years, possibly additional after senior year. So you can see for the 4-year graduation trends, Liberty at 91.8%, Jackson Memorial at 95.9%, and then the state graduation trend of 90.6%. What you see on the bottom, the continuing students, those would be students that remained with our school district the following year, and non-continuing students would be students that did end their high school career without receiving their high school diploma. And then you can see that same trend that goes on with the 5-year graduation trends. These numbers are high, however, our goal has always been and will always continue to be that we want these numbers to be 100%, and we'll continue to work with all of our students every year to try and get these numbers to be 100% graduation every year. The post-secondary enrollment gives information as far as So this is the class of 2020. So for the 16 months after the graduation of the class of 2020, how many of those students went on and enrolled in some sort of post-secondary education, whether it be a 2-year program or a 4-year program? You can see there our total population of all of our students that were in the class of 2020, 74.6% of our students did go on to a 2 or a 4-year school. We promote and we encourage our students to get on that track through programs like Naviance, our SAT courses that we provide here at school. Our guidance counselors work with our students that are interested in going in that track and help them out throughout that process. What's not shown here is the amount of our students that go into military, that get into the workplace immediately after graduation. Those students are not part of the 74.6, but many of those students are in very, very successful paths and trends, doing wonderful things for themselves and for the Jackson community at this point. College and career readiness is really focused on course enrollment and SAT and PSAT data. You can see the percent of our students that do take the PSAT in either 10th or 11th grade, 80.8%, and the percent of our seniors that took SAT while in high school. Keep in mind, these particular students were faced with many, many SAT sessions that were canceled, postponed, limited enrollment over the course of their junior, senior year because of everything that had gone on. So these numbers are significantly lower than have traditionally been for our school district. 45.7, we're typically in the 80 to 90% range if you look at previous school performance reports. So I do see that number as an anomaly based on the situation that we were in, and I fully anticipate that number will increase as we move forward with this school year and beyond. The number of our students that take an AP course, we have over almost a third of our students in high school are taking some sort of AP, which is an advanced placement college level course that are taught at both of our high schools. We offer over 20 different AP courses to our students, and about a third of our students take advantage of that, with many of our students taking multiple AP courses, not only one. And that last category, CTE, that stands for Career and Technical Education. These are programs such as computer science, woodworking, family and consumer science, engineering, programs that are very specific for either a career or technical trade. And we have almost a third of our students are involved in some sort of CTE course while they're at either Liberty or Memorial High School. And this next slide just shows our early childhood education. This is another slide where you will see a significant change as we move forward into next year and beyond. You can see a significant low number of our students enrolled in preschool in 2021. That was due to many parents working from home at that point. That was a pay program that parents needed to pay to enroll their children in that program, and many people experienced financial hardships and were not able to do so. Now, as we move into the 21-22 school year, our district is so fortunate to have the preschool grant. We now are able to offer free preschool to all of our preschool students. We currently have over 286 kids in the program now, and we'll be expanding that program to over 400 students for next school year. So you'll see a significant change in those numbers as we move forward into future years. Again, as I mentioned, and Mrs. Pormilli mentioned, this presentation will be posted on the website. You can see different resources there. The actual link to get to the school performance reports for all Jackson schools is listed there. There's also a New Jersey Department of Ed survey. This information does not come into our district. We don't see it, but it's a survey that parents can fill out if you have suggestions, if there's specific data points you would like to see in future performance reports, if there's data points that you feel aren't relevant to information that you might be interested in. Those are questions that are in that survey that every parent is encouraged and welcome to complete for our district, but also just for the school performance reports in general. And the Department of Ed website also has a lot more information, and I'm available if anybody has any questions or would like to discuss anything further from our school performance reports. Okay. Open it up to any questions at this point. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vitante. Very informative. So our final presentation this evening is our proposed budget. Last month's board meeting, I shared the tentative budget. Tonight, I'll share the proposed budget. Just as a reminder, all of the budget presentations and the information is also posted on our district website. Also, as a reminder, our budget process, the slides behind me indicate exactly the places of opportunity to share information, to learn more about our budget process, learn about our department budgets, our proposed budget, unfortunately our cuts, and also hear about our tentative and our final budget tonight, April 27th meeting. As an overview, as I said at the tentative budget hearing as well, this budget maintains our programs. That is always our priority: staffing, programs, instruction for our students. So this does make an investment in our curriculum, most of our technology, and our extracurricular programs. It maintains class size. It does not allow our district to make much-needed capital improvements and does not allow us to expand program. As a reminder, I know you've all heard this before, we are facing S2 cuts, and as I had said earlier last month, we anticipated a $4.1 million cut in state aid, and unfortunately instead, without notice, received a $4.6 million cut with no explanation of why. And we are on target right now to lose almost $19.5 million over all of the years of our S2 cuts. A little bit later, I'll talk more about how we're advocating. And as a reminder as well, in the media, you could see over the last few months, Jackson was obviously highlighted, not for reasons I would like to see it highlighted, but as being a very top loser in state aid. So we are one of the 10 top, we are number 5 of losing the most state aid in the school districts in New Jersey. As you are all aware, the board and our public, that the Jackson School District every year faces challenges for budgeting, not just our normal budget types of challenges that most districts face, contractual obligations, rising costs. We all know we're dealing with tremendous inflation right now in gas, product inflation, service inflation, tuition that's outside of our control, transportation costs, and having to, really look further to expand salaries to be able to be attractive to drivers, and then other things that were passed, such as Chapter 44, which provides less contribution for a staff member to their health benefits, which affects our budget as well. But particularly here in Jackson, we have some special circumstances. We all know of the increase of the need for non-public transportation that affects our budget, and we also have an increased population that's needing special programs and special staffing. It, again, as I have said in the past, I can't understand why our Department of Ed and our State Department can't differentiate a formula that allows for those special circumstances. And we continue to advocate in that factor. There should be a different approach for districts that have special circumstances. Yes, we received ESSER money. Yes, we received ARP money. Those things come to an end. So those are not monies that we can use to continually reduce class size because that's not sustainable. But we can use it to help us with learning loss programs. You see we have additional programs for that. We can use it for things that, supplies that we need to help address certain things. We can use it for professional development to help our teachers, to help close gaps for students. And it's, again, very helpful to the district. Without it, we would have been seeing significant cuts across the district. So what's the impact of our budget this year? A loss of 4 positions through attrition, retirements, or reduction in force. Again, our class sizes will remain consistent of what they are. I wanted to make a point that although only 4 positions, and we have been very, very much on top of every time we receive a retirement, of making sure that we could bring back a position we thought that we might have to cut, We are very much aware of making sure we can maintain staff so that our class sizes do not increase further. But I did want to point out, we have been very frugal, we have been very good and very much on top of being able to move things around, but over all of the S2 cuts that we've had over the years, we have eliminated 147 positions. You're going to feel that in a district. We feel that. And so that's just at this point. And again, appeal to our Department of Ed and our governor that that's significant. You know, we see class sizes increased, workload increase for people, burnout for people. It's a lot. So again, we also have our loss of our capital projects from year to year. We maintain the ones that we know we must be able to do for safety reasons, but there are a lot of other ones that need to be done as well. We've also reduced our school-based budgets again for supplies, and we've done some reductions in technology. Fortunately, again, this district has been very good at finding grants, and we will be able to purchase a lot of technology through the grants that we have. As I said earlier, our priority is always to maintain program, curriculum, and instruction. Here are the items that are being maintained. We are maintaining the curriculum in this budget. We are adopting our new math curriculum and resources and our science, our technology. We're keeping our co-curriculars. We know how important they are. We've worked hard in this budget to maintain those things. With that, I'll turn it over to the numbers portion of the budget presentation to Ms. Richardson.
Thank you, Mrs. Finley. I'm going to talk about some of the numbers that you have on the form that you picked up in the front. The big number on there, of course, is the tax levy. This is the amount that is to be raised by taxation. It's the general fund tax levy and also the debt service tax levy. The debt service tax levy is, of course, for debt that we've had over the years. We have our debt scheduled out to the year 2026. This year's proposed budget contains a general tax fund levy increase of 2%. On this next slide, I'll show you the different numbers that are on that form that you picked up there. The general fund tax levy is increasing $1.7 million, which is, as I said, 2% increase. State aid is going down $10 million. That's a 22% decrease. The general fund, which is just the first part of the budget, is a decrease of $4.4 million, 3%. The federal and state programs are going down by $3.7 million, which is 16%. And our total debt is going down, and that's, like I said, it's scheduled out for each year. It's just happened to be going down this next year of $5,000, a 0.07% decrease. The total budget is decreasing by $8.2 million, which is 4.69%. Now, what does this mean for the taxpayers in Jackson? With the proposed budget going down 4.69%, the increase in the school tax rate, and this is an estimate because I'm not the tax assessor for the township, I just have done it for so many years, I know how to calculate it. It's 0.0079 cent increase to the tax rate. So the 2022, because they work on a calendar year, proposed school tax rate is 1.4198 per 100 of assessed home value. And the normal house, the average home in Jackson is calculated at $329,862. And we get that from the township. We asked them for that number. That's a $26 increase per year, calendar year, for the average homeowner. I'll turn that back over to Mrs. Permilli.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. So as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we continue to advocate at all levels that the S2 cuts stop, pause, go away in general. Just recently, I submitted formal testimony to the New Jersey Senate budget hearing last week that outlined the significant impact that these cuts are having on this district. I also just recently, as of today, sent it to our Commissioner of Education and our State Board of Education. I really have been advocating for the fact that at least pause this. Have experienced 2 years of difficult times for our students and our staff, and I just don't understand why it can't at least be paused to get us through being able to help our students further. We continue to advocate with our legislators. Ms. Richardson and I have been on phone conversations with some of our legislators about helping to support us, including applying for our stabilization aid again. We're hopeful that perhaps that can help us again for this upcoming budget. But our legislators are helping to work with us to provide some bills, hopefully, that will help us and provide additional funding or at least some support and aid for those special circumstances that I spoke about before. There are ways that you can help us as well. We will have the letter that was sent and the hearing letter that was sent to everyone up on our district website so that you can use that, portions of it. We'll have sample letters, and we ask that you help us advocate. The more they hear from us, the more attention this district will get, and hopefully get some differentiated approach to funding. So that concludes our proposed budget. I am pleased to say we've maintained program and instruction, but it has been very difficult, and it would be wonderful to not have to, but be able to expand on things. So with that, I close the public hearing on the proposed budget and the superintendent's report. Mr. Walsh.
Thank you, Mrs. Permelli. Need a motion to open public forum.
Motion.
Easy.
Second.
Slow down. Okay. On the 2022-2023 budget only, we will hold another public forum during the meeting for all other questions. The public forum will be only for questions about the budget.
Motion. Second.
Please sign in and, okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Please sign in, state your name, whether or not you are a Jackson resident. Each person is allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. No person may speak more than once on a topic until all others have been heard.
Can I ask a question?
This public.
Oh.
You'll get your chance. Seeing no one approach. Just budget, yes. Okay, seeing no one approach with question. Okay.
I thought you were going by this list. Gus Acevedo, 18 Bryan Drive, Jackson. One statement. I know you won't do this, but do not let cutbacks in budget be the excuse to overload classrooms. Don't do it.
Anyone else about budget? Seeing no one come forward, make a motion we close.
Motion.
Second.
Now, do board members have questions?
Thanks. Just a quick question. So I see that this, the sample letters are going to go out on the website on the 28th, and it's super important that people write these letters and make calls. Where will we find that on the website?
Yeah, Ms. Irwin, our website guru, can you explain that a little bit?
We're going to anchor them on the Board of Education budget and financial page, but we're going to put it front and center on the front pages of all the websites, and also email it to all of our parents directly. So it'll be anchored on the budget page, but it'll be splashed about quite a bit.
Thank you, Ms. Irwin.
So you said we're going to email it out to all the parents? Thank you. Any other questions from board members? Okay. Standing committee reports. State and county school board rep.
May 24th, we'll be having our next county meeting. It will be at 6:30 at the Clarion Hotel, and it's going to be a hybrid model.
Parent Group Liaison, the next meeting will be May 11th, 2022, to discuss what's going on for the closing of the school year. Special Education,
The Special Ed Committee does not have a date on the calendar yet, but our May meeting is to be announced soon, hopefully.
Scholarship, they are at that point of the year when the sponsors are selecting the scholars to receive their scholarships. And tomorrow, the committee, the Jackson Township Committee, will meet to select scholarships from that committee. Building and Grounds, as far as building and grounds are concerned, everyone who plays tennis on Memorial, May 1st, okay, they're going to start reconstructing the tennis courts. So it's going to be closed for a little while. All right, just to give you a heads up as far as that's concerned. But those people who play tennis over there will be happy to get them fixed. Okay, the district's had its lead testing completed with a few hiccups here and there, but they have all been corrected. Switlick has cited another modular, number 7. Okay, and the parking lots in Liberty have been fixed. So, not the parking lots, the lights, I should say, have been fixed. Parking lots are fine. Okay, with many other things being repaired as they come along, such as the generator need fixing at McAuliffe and so on and so forth. But they are progressing as we talk. Budget and Finance, you've seen it. It's up on the board. Transportation.
We'll be having our transportation meeting at the end of next month. Thank you.
Curriculum.
We met on Monday afternoon, and everything that Mrs. LaCitra put in her wonderful presentation, that was basically our whole discussion and the report that Mr. Otante gave. So both of those things were up on the screen earlier today.
Policy Committee.
Policy Committee will be meeting on May 10th, and I'll have an update next board meeting.
The Enrollment Committee has not met. Probably next year we'll start getting that together.
I'm sorry, next year? Is that what you said?
Yeah, probably at the beginning of next year.
Like 2023?
No, September. School year.
Okay.
September 2022. We need a motion for approval of the minutes, closed session meeting, March 23rd, 2022, the official board meeting, March 23rd, 2022, Committee of the Whole, and business meeting.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. I need a motion for approval of the bills list.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. Need a motion for the approval of the treasurer's report and the board secretary's report.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. I need a motion to open up public forum for any topic pertaining to the Board of Education.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Please sign in, state your name, whether or not you are a Jackson resident. Each person is allowed a maximum of 5 minutes. No person may speak more than once on a topic until all others have been heard. This is open. This is the open forum for anything.
Hi, my name is Joyce Jolliffe. I live in Jackson. Do you need the address as well? Jackson, fine. So my child lives in the Elms. We go to Elms. And it's kind of a town and Board of Ed question. Recently, the Adventure Crossing power plant has been approved, which we had learned at the zoning board last week will be giving off 100 tons of noxious oxide a year. With that pollution and Elms being less than a mile away from the project, how will the Board of Ed be dealing with this? As this is obviously a grave environmental concern, especially the fact that Elms is a health and wellness and safety school. You know, that's very important. In addition, with the warehouses also coming online within a year, by next year, the 400 proposed trucks in the 1 million square foot warehouses will be flooding Anderson and Patterson area, causing problems for our buses and such, since it is a 24-hour, 7-day operating facility. And I want to know how the Board of Ed has come to address not only the environmental impacts of this, but also the busing, the problem with these massive semi-trucks.
So the Board of Education has not had a conversation about the power plant at this point, but I appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and it's certainly something we will look into and discuss. And as far as the warehouse and the traffic, we do have a Transportation Board Committee, and those are the things that we would be discussing. That would be one topic we would discuss at a Board Transportation Committee meeting, and we do review our roads and look at safe ways of making sure that we keep our students as safe as possible. But you're right, it's also a township question as well, but certainly we will be looking into those things, and we appreciate you bringing them to our attention.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Jim Quigley. I am a resident of Jackson. Thank you, Ms. LaCitra, for a wonderful presentation that answered a lot of my questions. I do have a follow-up question with respect to that, though. What assurance do we as the parents have that a teacher perhaps a more progressive teacher might teach beyond the curriculum and teach something without the consent of the parents?
So we have, hi.
Sorry, I didn't LaCitra came to
Oh, I didn't see you pop up there. Go ahead, Ms. LaCitra, you go first.
Thank you so much. I think I spoke with you earlier this week, correct? Yes.
Not this week, but
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So our teachers are trained, so at the elementary level, it's the classroom teacher, except for the 5th grade lesson, that's the PE teacher. And when the PE teacher gives the lesson in 5th grade, and again, that's an opt-out lesson, there is another adult in the room, and the boys and girls are separated for those lessons. It's something we have been implementing for years. There's training that goes along with it. This summer, we are going to be, again, having some more training, working with with the administrators who are in charge with those levels, and the PE teachers that give those lessons, they give the health lesson because it's PE health in the upper grades. They too have been trained, and we have discussions, and all of the things that I presented today, we have already talked about over the course of the last 2 years. So a student could ask a question that might be different than some of the topics we're talking about, and we encourage them at that time to go home and talk to an adult if it's not part of what our discussion should be in class. Is that okay? Did I answer you okay?
I think so, because I think
Yeah.
it's just, so essentially, it's just the training of the teachers to say, don't go beyond the bounds of, I think you said in 5th grade, it's 1 day.
Fifth
you know,
grade's 1
so,
day. Yes.
So, okay. So I guess like just for clarification.
Yes.
There won't be a math problem, word problem that says Bobby's going to buy a dress.
Yes.
And things of that nature.
Yes.
Okay.
No. Again, our math curriculum, which we're adopting for September, is the Envision math curriculum, and we use the HMH, that's the parent company, Houghton Mifflin, that uses those materials, and I'm sure you see the worksheets coming home, so that's what we use for that, and that's manufactured for that. And again, we have training, conversations, and everyone is very much aware of the sensitivity of some of these topics, and we feel that we've addressed it in the best way by aligning to the standards and also getting the community involved.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anytime, Mr. Quigley.
Gus Acevedo, 18 Bryan Drive, Jackson. Going back decades, it is proper, always been proper for board members to follow the law, to do what's right according to the law, but we've always promoted a Jackson model. If our model is better, because it's more professional, and we can back it up, it's better to do it the Jackson way and be able to defend it, which is what we do. Okay, I have a couple of issues. A former superintendent, Ed Elms, was a big fan of frog ponds. We have 2 frog ponds, one in each high school. When you're going out to park, you hear these loud frogs that are so annoying. He loved them. But I suggested then, but he left, that we create some access, some boardwalk, so that they can be used for research. You can test the water for mosquitoes, for quality of poisons in the water, leads, and it can be 2 free classrooms out there. You'll see them. They're visible from the cars. Now, I have 2 issues that are aspirational and pragmatic. Well, right now in October, the Geraldine Dodge Rockefeller Foundation is going to have a poetry festival, which it has had for the last 36 years. Last couple of years they've been virtual, so I didn't attend. I attended the first one. I've never missed one since. I suggest, since from the first day we had a high school here, we had great writers. Not only did we have great writers, but our journal, our poetry book, won the honor of being the #1 literary journal in all of Ocean County, better than Point Pleasant Borough. But I would also take this opportunity to apologize to Scott, because last time I gave a shot to what I thought was his high school, Point Beach, because they're short, they're small, and they're supposed to be #1. 300 kids, come on, give me a break. That's enough. All right, I hope I gave Jeannie an address and a phone number for it to end up with our people so they can call and find out about this festival. This is the largest poetry festival in the entire United States, maybe the world. They have a high school component where they busloads of kids go there and they get to meet poets, the Poet Laureate of the United States. They work hand in hand with professors, and they get to meet poets who happen to be professors at Princeton, etc. I suggest that you consider it. I will now put on my glasses so I can read what I sloppily wrote down.
Where's it located?
It's going to be at the Performing Arts Center in Newark. Okay, it used to be in just barely on the other side of New Jersey and New York, but now it's been for the last few years in Newark, and it's a great facility. All right. Okay, I'm big on the environment. I noticed from the beginning that the solar panels are a great addition to our district. However, they are taking up real estate. So as soon as some other version of the solar panels are created, whether they be elevated on posts, smaller, more portable, mobile, replace those solar panels so we can reuse that land for practice fields, for gym, for coaching, for varsity sports. Okay, that's a big piece of land. When I first came here, our board office was used to store Xerox paper. And I said, this building to store a Xerox, box after box of Xerox paper. That's not the proper use of real estate. Also, I noticed that there was a differential between blacks, African Americans, Latinos in scores or going to college by 10 to 14%. Okay, I'm not going to say it's unacceptable, it's just a reality, but it's a concern. I will tell you, we should keep an eye on that because 10 to 14% become 20 to 30%. If you expect this school district to be a success, don't applaud yourself because you're a green school or a blue ribbon school if an entire group of people are left behind. Do not allow yourselves to think that you can live with such figures. Okay, so do something about it.
Mr. Acevedo, your time is up.
I knew it would be. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Acevedo, and yes, I would agree in regards to graduation rates. Always working on it.
Okay, this is the last forum, okay? It's for anything, so if anybody has anything to say to the board, please come up now. Seeing no one approach the mic, can I have a motion to close the forum?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, by acclamation, close forum. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, resolution for action. Motion to move finance.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. Number 6. I have a question about that leasing adoption that we're getting into. Would that be buses or all vehicles?
It's only for buses.
That's only for buses, okay. So it's not purchase, or is it lease purchase?
It's lease purchase.
Okay, all right. Also, I just have a statement to make about number 12. We'll have the vocational group coming in here to help us install the new fixtures that we got in a grant for plumbing. Okay, that is a great utilization of what talent the county has, because it's actually county VOTAC. Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. Motion to move facilities.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. Motion to move programs?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Just have a statement. As a retired science teacher, I love to see that we're starting all these programs that deal with science down at the elementary level and all the way up, including summer programs for science. Okay? We got problems on this earth, and those kids are the ones who are going to have to really solve them. Roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. Motion move students.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. Motion to move personnel.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Barakis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cass?
Yes.
Dr. Osmond?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Abstain from 1B, yes to everything else.
Mrs. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes. Board comments? Start with Mrs. Koss.
I just wanted to congratulate Elms on being a green ribbon school because I think that's really great. I know we had one last year as well. We had blue and green last year, right? So, right. So just another great accomplishment in Jackson. My son was on the DECA trip, so I just want to give a shout out to Noelle because she placed internationally, and I think it's just a great program, and I love it, and those kids had a great time in Atlanta. Our sports teams are doing great, and the tennis courts getting redone is really exciting. I also want to acknowledge, because it's Administrative Assistant Day, and I know Jeannie, like you do all of our packets all the time, and they're always so nice and neat, and it's a lot of paperwork, and so I do appreciate that, and everyone else too. And I just encourage everybody to send those letters to the state for our S2 cuts because we really need that money, and it's just not fair. Really is the bottom line. It's not fair. Other than that, everybody have a good, safe night.
Mr. Palmieri.
I would just like to congratulate Elms once again on their National Green Ribbon. I would like to as well thank all the administrative assistants here today. You make our lives a lot easier and more organized, so thank you. And I'd just like to thank everybody for their comments tonight. Get home safely. Have a good evening.
Mr. Sargent.
I'd just like to thank Superintendent for all her hard work on this budget. I think that everyone often thanks everyone but the superintendent, and she's a workaholic, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you for that. Thank you all for coming out, and have a good night.
Dr. Osmond.
Just wanted to thank everybody for coming out. It's important that people keep coming out. And then, of course, I am encouraging everybody to write to the state and call the state. What they're doing, the budgets, especially for a school our size, is really crazy, and they have to hear our voices.
Ms. Barakis.
So as I mentioned in last month's meeting, I did get to attend the Moana show at Forgets, and as I expected, the children were amazing. So if next year when you start to see some of the shows, you really have to come out and support these kids. They do an amazing job on all ends. Also, Friday night, we had a really great event for our lacrosse teams, both Memorial and Liberty, and that event really brought the town together. We had over 100 people attend, and it was not only just about two teams being together and supporting each other, but really also about raising funds for Ocean of Love. And again, those are the type of events that we want to see from all of our activities. So again, it was great seeing everyone on Friday night. I also want to thank Ms. Lasitra for presenting this evening. I think curriculum right now, obviously for everyone, has been a hot button, and you did a great job. And thank you for that. And thank you for everyone who came out tonight, and for those of you that are watching at home.
You're up.
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening, your input and your comments. Congratulations on the Elms Awards. Happy Administrative Assistance Day. We appreciate all you do. Everyone have a safe and great night.
Everybody hit most of the points, but I do want to say great job to the accounting department and putting that budget together. Michelle, your people did a great job. Have a good night. Okay, adjourned by acclamation. Aye.